The Tesseract Academy have just released an AI career coach, and I have to say I am thoroughly impressed. If this is your first time here, my name is Jay, and this is the Everyday AI channel where we teach you how you can use AI in your daily lives. So I'm going to dive right into this here. The onboarding was actually so sleek. I wish I recorded it, but I've already done it now. In any case, I can actually go back and tweak some of the things that I've done. So here we've got a few bits of information about me. I uploaded my CV. This was also created, I believe, from the summarization of everything that was in my CV, and then I added I answered a whole bunch of questions about what I'm using AI for right now, my previous experience, how I like to learn, and a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with this. I think this can be a great way for anyone to essentially start really looking into their career and looking into the skills they want to develop, and see how they can actually start making plans to make those a reality, so that they can position themselves in a way that makes sure they are basically in a position where people come to them, right? Which is what you really want, because I think the future is going to be the sort of content that you've made about what you can do and what you've learned. I think the future is going to be learning in public, right? Because it's way more captivating to someone who's, hiring people. And I say this as someone who's hired multiple people, a lot of them twice my age, with a lot of experience as well, but just not necessarily the crucial AI experience required in this day and age. It's way more compelling for someone to see and binge watch about 30 videos of you learning something new that is relevant to the role you're applying than it is to, just give them a CV. And if you make that available for them, then you're immediately positioning yourself in a way that puts you in a position where you have a lot of leverage, right? Which is really what you want. So from everything I answered in terms of how I'm using LLMs, custom GPTs, vibe coding, automation, this is my AI maturity index, my leadership style. I can even have a chat with a coach. So Jeremiah Johnson, based on your profile as director of AI, here to help you navigate your next strategic move. Okay, so one thing I'm gonna say here is, how can I navigate quantum computing as a future occurrence, and how can I make sure I future-proof my career, say, in the age of quantum? Now, of course, anyone who knows me well knows I definitely always like thinking ahead. I'm gonna see exactly what response this gives me here. Okay, cool. So firstly, that's quite quick. I like it. I don't know what model they're using, but it's definitely got the speed on its side. Okay, great. So let's future-proof your career against the quantum computing paradigm shift. Given my high AI maturity score, 16 out of 18, director level, and visionary leadership style, I'm already well positioned. That's great to hear, but of course that's never enough for me. Cool. So understanding the quantum threat and opportunity, near-term risks, long-term opportunities, strategic skill development, cryptography fundamentals. Okay, interesting stuff. Well, I'm already pretty well versed when it comes to things like blockchain technology, but I guess post-quantum cryptography and those kind of algorithms, that's not something I'm particularly well versed in. So I think that's something I can definitely look into. Upskilling as well. So, okay, great stuff. We've got the Tesseract Academy plugging themselves, but this is, an exceptional course. I do know the people who run the Tesseract Academy, and they are some very, very impressive professionals. So they've got the data science and AI for decision makers and senior professionals. Cool, great stuff. We've got data strategy considerations, thought leadership and networking publications. Of course, I write articles on LinkedIn very frequently as well. I've got a whole automated workflow, which of course still has me as a human in the lead and in the loop. So translating this into an increased compensation, quantifying the risk, quantifying the potential impact, and focusing on return on investment. Okay, amazing stuff. So I'm actually pleased to announce I've launched one of my first digital products, which is a 7-day prompting ebook. I've called it Perfecting Prompts, and it's essentially a 7-day crash course on how you can improve your prompting so that you can supercharge your productivity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the link to Perfecting Prompts below. I put in a lot of work into it, and in there I actually include some frameworks that I teach to global corporations. Definitely check it out. You've got access to an LLM that has been trained, I assume, via RAG, retrieval augmented generation, on everything you've provided during the onboarding. You've got access to a learning path. I mean, this is really quite something, I have to say. Focus areas and topics, of course, Web3 and blockchain. I was very much heavily involved in the Web3 and blockchain space from an educational point of view as well, before AI was even as popular as it was, or more specifically before the 30th of November 2022 when ChatGPT 3.5 was released. We've also got okay, cool, so you can see how this particular career coach is working in terms of whether there's any downtime. Cool. We've got pivot strategies. So if you actually wanted to pivot, and this is I actually wrote an article on this recently. If you ever wanted to pivot careers, you can actually select the exact target job title you want, the target industry, and the time you have to invest, and that will generate a strategic roadmap. These guys really outdone themselves here, I have to say. You can also replay the tour. So this is going to be a quick 30-second tour. We've got the AI coach there on the left, right? So this is what I've just used. We've got the learning path generator, CV and bio audit. You've got the quick actions, and of course you can also edit your profile as well. So yeah, this is some really interesting stuff. Yeah, we can go back into, so this is what the onboarding looked like. I put in my LinkedIn, my primary domain expertise, my my sort of AI maturity levels when it comes to things like LLM basics, custom GPTs, automations. Of course, a lot of this I actually initially put into ChatGPT and said, based on what you know about me, how would you answer these questions? And then of course I reviewed it. Once again, these large language models are useful for things that are hard to do but easy to check. You always have to check it. And strategic goals and psychometrics as well. So this is quite an impressive platform. I think anyone who's interested in actually upskilling or perhaps pivoting what they're currently doing should definitely look into this career coach offered by the Tesseract Academy. Have a wonderful day.